What's going on, folks? So this is going to be more of a just my meditations a bit. I think I'm going to call this meditations on automation, UBI, and the future. So I wanted to talk about this because it just popped into my head, really, and now I'm going to give my long kind of boomer-esque rant. Why not? So I thought about it. And we see, of course, there's a lot of argument basically of how long do we have until automation is going to get rid of most jobs in the world, not just the United States, but in the world, on the whole of the planet Earth. And what will the future be? What will it all hold? And this is something that we have to ask ourselves more and more. What's going to happen to us? Are we just going to be stuck, with UBI and stuck inside all day and, giving us our, little gadgets and whiz bangs and everything else? Or we can watch our Twitch streamers or whatever the case, sorry for keep on saying whatever the case may be. Sorry, it's something I need to break. Or whatever your poison. Is that what our future is going to be? Now, this isn't fear-mongering. I'm just saying this as, what will it hold? Because we know that we cannot go back to the days, as we can see here from the video, we cannot go back to the days of the Ford factories, or go back to the days of, of the 5-year plans under Joseph Stalin and the Soviet Union. We can't go back to those days. We have to look at the future. We have to be accepting of what is going to happen. And there are many different paths that can be taken. Many different ones. It all just comes down to what you want to be part of, really, and what you are willing to accept. Now, a lot of this is out of our control, and it is out of our hands. And that's the unfortunate part. This is something that I think, that LARPers on both the left and the right need to realize, is that you can go ahead and keep talking about your revolution, keep talking about how you're going to fight back, whatever the case may be, but the rest of us are just kind of stuck in this little world that we are in. And it's unfortunate, to say the least. But it's something that we need to at least come to grips with to a point. Now, do I completely agree with people like Andrew Yang? No, of course not. Do I agree with Elon Musk? No, of course not. To me, these are both just figures. These are effigies that, the left and the right use as enemies. Or even people like, say, Cody Wilson, who created the 3D printed gun, the Liberator, which, of course, now Cody Wilson is still out in the libertarian community, but in general is a spent force in a lot of ways, at least for now. So, realistically, we see all this changing around us, and there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of angst, there's a lot of worry about where are we going to go. And this has happened over and over, and there have been people who were able to market these ideas better and to create kind of it's going to be okay, and this is what we're going to put you into. But it seems that capitalism now does not seem to want to answer that question, or at least has not accepted the answer that they're going to give, which is that, at least as far as I can see anyway, is that, yeah, we will be losing jobs, and we will be getting a universal basic income. And we will be, and there will be people, of course, who will be renegades and who will go out there and they'll do what they want. And they'll make their money or whatever you want to say here. But there will be the renegades. But for the large vast majority, I would say 85%. I'm just going to put that percentage, just pulled it straight on my rear end. But the vast majority are going to be living off of UBI and, paying for some lab-grown meat or something. I mean, who knows what the future holds, right? But there is a lot of worry. There's a lot of worry. There's a lot of angst out there. And it's easy to just be like Varg and say, well, we're going to go out and live off the land, but we're also going to have laptops and everything else. But to me, that's just simple escapism. So what's my answer? What's my answer to all this? My answer is to learn how to adapt in that system. While you can feel that people like Cody are cringe, for what he's done and create 3D printed guns, but I would say to embrace this to a point. That doesn't mean having to become a libertarian. That just means accepting that this is the future and you have to play the game. That means, dare I say it, but that means learning to code, and that means having to try to balance between working within the nature that we have today and working with the future. And ultimately, I know that's not much of a response, but I think for those that want a clear-cut answer, I don't have one. I will be plain and honest with you. But I think that it's something that a lot of folks in general don't talk about, or it's just fear-mongering. And even though I had a twinge of fear-mongering in general, I think that I was trying to just say, hey, a lot of things are changing. I don't fully know what's going to happen, but we have to be able to accept it, not necessarily embrace it, but to accept it and say, okay, this is what we are in. Let us try to work our way into the system, but keep our values with us, whatever those may be, and make it work. That's all I can really tell you at the end of the day, folks. So that was kind of a random rant video, but I think it's easy. This is the last little bit here, but it's easy in general to make videos that say, oh, well, let's talk about this guy, or let's talk about that guy on YouTube, and it gets comments, and it gets views and everything else. Let's show a video, let's show a clip of Vosh. And I do realize the hypocrisy of it all. It's like, I'm just getting clout off this guy. I do realize that. And I'm trying to balance it out with actually giving my takes on some bigger issues, as kind of small-brained as they are. But nonetheless, I hope y'all enjoyed this and kind of understood where I was coming from. And I think that's all I have. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a good rest of the day. God bless, and goodbye.